If I could turn back time.
If I could find a way.
I'd take back all the words
that hurt you.
I was born in a traveling show. Mama used to dance for the money they'd throw. Papa would do whatever he could.
James, you have a way higher voice than Cher.
Wow.
That was actually, I like that song.
Want to ring the bell?
I'm taking it back. I'm taking them all back.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
I'm a loner, Daddy. Rebel.
I am the walrus.
Alright, so I would just like to read this out that I wrote earlier.
Okay.
The Untouchables.
Chris's manifesto.
The story of a government agent, Elliot Ness, relentlessly harassing an Italian-American businessman, Al Capone. Ness, through bullying of Al Capone's business associates and through the blackmail... Ness, through bullying of Capone's business associates...
Chris can never read his own handwriting.
I add stuff, that's the problem. Arrests Capone... And through the blackmail, and
through the blackmail.
All right, I'm going to start over because I want this done in one decent run.
Okay.
Do you want me to read it?
I don't think you could. Because like I said, it goes from here to here to here.
I can make you sound way smarter.
I'm smarter. All right. The Untouchables. The story of a government agent, Elliot Ness, relentlessly harassing an Italian-American businessman, Al Capone. Ness, through bullying of Capone's business associates, manages to arrest Capone, and through blackmail coerces the judge into what should have been a mistrial by switching the jury in the middle of the trial. That was a little bit better, but I was really bored.
I still
like the last 10 minutes of my
I still like beat through the
blackmail. Through the blackmail, like the Twitter.
When
It's funny, I can like hear it in your head because you're like, through the shit.
Yeah, that's usually how I talk.
when Chris writes a paragraph, it looks like a flowchart.
Well,
It
that's a
does.
sign of a good IT agent right there.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I write this stuff on like 11 by 14 sheets of paper by hand. I just write notes to myself throughout the day of things I was thinking about for like that I wanted to discuss over the podcast. And I wrote like 2/3 of this page paper with notes on the movie itself. Then I'm like, if you look at this movie from a different perspective, and Elliot Ness is the bad guy in this, because as I went through it, I realized I didn't like Elliot Ness's character in this film.
After today, I am never going to say anything about a movie that I haven't watched in 5 years.
Right.
That is a good point.
On that bright note,
Hello, everyone, and welcome to John Hates Movies. This is the podcast where my friends get me to stop drinking my own tears for 5 minutes and instead talk about movies. Today, we have with us Eric Largent.
Tally ho.
We have Chris Arsenault.
So do you just like drip them into a glass, or do you like soak them up with like a rag and wring them out?
I soak them up with a rag, wring them out when I can, and otherwise I just suck on the rag.
Okay.
We have my brother here, James Barrup.
carry a tape recorder with you and listen to yourself talk throughout the day, and you will be surprised, really surprised, at some of the things you say.
James is right. I'm such a blowhard. And last but not least, the friend, Colin McMillan.
The friend.
Wow.
Colin McMillan.
Gosh, way to build me up, buddy.
Wait, does that imply that me and Chris aren't friends of yours?
No, I was going to say funny, but my mouth just slid right off the word.
Don't write any checks that I can't cash.
I cannot tell a lie.
Yeah.
I cut down that cherry tree.
You just went, What if he's not going to be funny today?
I kind
Am I
of did.
selling this too hard?
I panicked. I was like, oh no! All right. So, this week's movie, which was chosen by Colin.
Because I'm hilarious.
Was I'm so wacky.
Wowie wow.
Was the Untouchables.
Yes.
Netflix, gives it a solid 4 stars.
Netflix is also hilarious.
The synopsis is, in Brian De Palma's period crime drama, Elliot Ness will stop at nothing to take down legendary Al Capone, even if it means bending some rules. Wonderful.
Some rules.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
my description is
couple.
all that inaccurate.
Yep. It stars Kevin Costner, Sean Connery, Charles Martin Smith, and was created by Brian De Palma. So, who wants to be the first to touch on this gem?
Well, guys, I actually liked the movie,
Oh, all right.
but I suppose that's nothing new because I've liked most of these movies.
How much were you drinking this time?
None. I was.
Oh, so you soberly like this movie?
Yeah.
Well, the 14th Amendment prevents us from discriminating against you because you like this movie, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that you're not wrong.
Okay.
Put himself in the prohibition state of mind. He drank one beer.
All right.
But no one was watching.
So here's some hot Untouchables takes.
All right.
Andy Garcia was fucking awesome in this movie. Andy Garcia was the coolest guy in the movie by far, I think.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, like, he just got to sit there, grin, and, like, be a badass. So I know that we're all going to get to it at a certain point. And the last time I saw this movie, I was probably, like, 14 or 15 years old. And even then, I knew that staircase scene went on, like, 2 minutes too long.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as Kevin Costner's out of bullets and Andy Garcia comes flying out of there, throws him a gun, and Kevin Costner shoots a guy, and then Andy Garcia catches the buggy and then shoots the guy in the head. That's fucking cool. Like, it was really cool. I thought it was great. And hey, I don't need your feedback. I'm just gonna keep going.
That's all right.
Noticing how like quiet everyone is. We're like,
Well, we're all just kind of
we're all like,
parsing what Eric's
yeah,
saying.
that's right.
we're like cracking our
That's
knuckles.
fine.
know?
No,
I'm
I'm gonna build a house of cards here for you guys to take down. All right.
There you go.
All right.
All right. So another thing that everybody remembers about this movie the first time they see it is you want to know how to take down Ness? He puts one of yours in the hospital, you put one of his in the morgue.
Yeah.
Like that kind of shit.
Now let's go arrest him for tax evasion.
Or I want him dead. I want his family dead. I want his house burned to the ground. That kind of shit.
Yep.
Like everybody, easily the best line in this movie was when they've got Al Capone's one of his boys in the cabin after they do the Canadian
After
liquor
they stop,
invasion.
yeah.
And they're trying to. Sean Connery's trying to intimidate the guy, and Sean Connery goes, "Listen, you're talking to a real G here." Like, he refers to Elliot Ness as a real G, and I really want a soundbite of Sean Connery saying, "Listen, you're talking to a real G here." Like, I don't know. That was great. Also, this was top of his game, Kevin Costner. Like this,
Oh Lord!
it was.
You're right. That's the worst.
Yeah,
part.
you are right.
Look, I like Kevin Costner. I need like 2 or 3 more Kevin Costner baseball movies because they're all great.
Tatanka.
For Love of the Game,
Tatanka.
Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams.
Tatanka.
Shut the
Two
fuck up.
songs. I've named him 2
Bull
songs.
Durham.
Yeah, Bull Durham. I love Kevin Costner. All right,
I don't
so,
think I've seen any of those movies.
House of Cards assembled. Who wants to talk next? Because I realized this wasn't a great movie. There were Ennio Morricone. We just listened to one of his best, maybe the best score ever a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
And he returned to the podcast with a good score that's criminally dated. Like all the synthesizers.
Oh, he did the score to this?
Wow.
Same
Oh,
guy that did
no.
Good, Bad, the Ugly. That was my first talking point.
Well, that's all I'll say on this. But yeah, that was a criminally dated score.
Oh my god.
Jesus, I felt like I was watching the Hallmark Channel.
Yeah.
I have my own things to say about that, but I'll let you guys go first.
I think that's all I got for now. I'll add points as we move along.
How about it, Colin?
Just out of curiosity here, Eric, let's get a general room consensus. Eric, are you the only one who liked this movie on a repeated viewing?
I must be.
I didn't.
I didn't like
I
it.
think he's the only one.
I won't say that I disliked the movie. Okay, here's the thing. I do like the movie, but I do have to admit on a repeated viewing, I felt unwilling to actually sit down and watch through the entire movie. It took me like 3 times.
Wow.
To actually
You
sit
guys
down
and your
and watch the
attention
movie.
spans.
Well, my attention span is not great, but I'm just saying, I don't know. I can watch really. I watched Sharknado at one sitting.
Wow.
Part of it is how much time I have to dedicate, and that's what it's really been like with Good, Bad, and the Ugly. I had to watch it over 2 or 3 days because I just didn't have that amount of time all at once.
Well, that movie's
Right,
3
right.
hours long.
But this one, I literally started after about 40 minutes at a time. I just want to do something else.
Dude, I watched Sharknado 2 live with all the commercials.
Ooh, ouch.
you know they're making that an annual
Good.
thing
It
now,
should be.
right? They've already announced
Why
Sharknado
not?
3.
Why not?
They must be making money.
Yeah. Oh shit! That thing was full. Like there were city bike ads, subway ads, like ads for everything in the movie. It was
Big
great.
money in Sharknado.
Sharknado versus Godzilla.
Eat fresh.
Oh Lord.
Okay, so Chris, you want to expound there a little? Give us your view on it.
Yeah. Here's the thing: there are several iconic dialogue points in this movie.
Yeah.
The Connery one, the De Niro.
Leave it to a wop to bring a knife to a gunfight.
Right? Lovable racism.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
the screenplay was written by David
Yeah.
Mamet, which I don't know if you guys know
Playwright.
is like one of the
Glengarry Glen Ross.
Yeah, he's like one of the best like natural dialogue writers of probably this past 50 years. So he's good for those kind of peppy one-liners.
well, and that's the thing. Connery's character Malone, all his dialogue was excellent. He's constantly, bringing everyone back up, like right before the Canadian whiskey. I want to say heist.
It's like a
but not
siege.
heist, but
Siege,
but,
maybe?
It's a
Or
raid.
Raid,
Yeah,
raid. Yes, the Canadian whiskey raid. He's sitting there eating some summer sausage, and then gives a quick pep talk and goes back to eating his summer sausage.
Yep.
But and here's the thing: Malone is without a doubt one of the better characters in the movie. And
I dare say he's the only character in
Well,
the movie.
Eric said he loved Andy Garcia,
Yeah.
and I agree.
But
Yeah.
Andy Garcia doesn't get much time at all.
Yeah, he
No, he
doesn't get
doesn't.
much time. He's
Yeah.
like almost no.
He's not really a
dialogue,
character. He's
but
just
he's
he's
an
a
awesome-
badass
yes.
robot.
He's
for
muscle.
for what he is in the movie, he does it fantastically.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, I don't like Ness in this movie. Ness is not a likable character, and I don't mean like he's dislikable. He just seems incredibly disingenuous, and he is, as the descriptor of the movie says, he
Ben's
and
rules.
Ben's rules. And he is so hard line to begin with. And
Yeah.
he a part of it is he realized that, okay, we're not going to do this on the straight and narrow. But when you commit to something so as hard as he committed to it, and then flexes like just a little bit like he does, or a little bit,
A
but
lot. Well,
it bothers me because it's like, all right, you stood for so much at the beginning, and you are standing on nothing now.
it's the
But
same
that's not
thing-
even why I don't like him.
Well,
He
just
was just fucking dull.
Well, it's the same thing we talked about a few weeks ago with Knockout Ned in City
Mhm.
of God, where
Yeah.
these characters that have like a righteous quest, and then go back,
And
on
that
their
wall
morals.
crumbles
Yep.
as soon as they step out,
Yeah.
an inch outside of their
Yep.
bounds.
Well, that's at least historically
Right.
accurate
Yeah.
because Ness is like one of, I guess, what you'd call history's greatest hypocrites.
Yes.
some of the stuff that he did in Cleveland when he was running for public office was straight up abominable. The way that he would treat the homeless in that town. I think I can't remember exactly how it went down. I'll have to remind myself some other
He
time.
walked around singing, California is good to the homeless. California,
No.
super cool to the homeless.
No, I'm pretty sure that's not it.
It's a little
I do
Tupac,
think
yeah.
didn't he like round them up and like burn down their tent city?
Oh, okay.
What else are
So
you
a little
gonna do with the
different.
homeless?
Well, so this movie's based. The screenplay is based
Now
on a
they're
book
super
that
homeless.
Elliot Ness co-wrote. Like, I think he's been pretty honest about how much he was willing to bend the rules.
Gotcha.
Well, and that's the other thing. Sorry, the other best character in the entire movie, and
Don't say De Niro.
no, not at all. Like
Okay.
Nero plays a very good, role. Capone, I don't know because I don't really know how Capone acted, but a believable gangster.
Yes.
The what the hell's the accountant?
Oh yeah.
Oscar Wallace.
Yes.
That's that character's name.
Favorite, hands down though, favorite character, and strictly because of the scene at the bridge.
Oh, when he
What-
drinks
what-
out of the barrel.
Well, no. Yes, that too. But like him during that entire scene,
He's finally out of the office
Garcia
and he
gets
grows.
shot. No. Then he like goes like full rage mode and shoots every motherfucker within range.
Yeah.
And when he's out of bullets, he beats the shit out of the dude.
Yeah.
And then takes a drink. And you know what happens immediately after? Ness?
He
No,
gets killed.
he's totally. No. Ness shoots one dude and then has like a little cry about it.
Yep.
That's true.
You think this is a game?
Did you hear me? Even though you've only spoke Italian?
Right.
Golly, weren't you listening? Golly gee, is this a game? Gosh!
But yeah.
This is nothing
Hey,
like
you know what,
Mayberry.
Colin? You put way more emotion into that than Kevin Costner ever could.
I can't Costner flatly enough, actually. I'm incapable.
You think this is a game?
Oh, jeez.
Aw, jeez.
Oh, didn't you hear me?
Golly. Didn't you?
Aw. It's like he's doing a read-through from a broken
Look, guys,
teleprompter.
I want to give Kevin Costner a little bit of credit right here. Okay.
Are you done?
At the very
Okay.
beginning of the
All
movie, we know
Tatanka.
that he's
Two
going to need
socks.
to have a Chicago accent, and he does it really subtly. He didn't go overboard with the Chicago accent, and I appreciated that. So there.
That's because he can only keep it up for
No, he did it
one
really
scene.
Do you
It was
own
good.
your own home?
Oh, Lord.
What is necessarily a Chicago?
The only
accent?
time that he sounds like he's from Chicago is when he says the word
Chicago.
Chicago.
Rewatching this movie, I just kind of found it not very enticing, and it also really bothered me in the beginning of the movie when the dude walks in, smiles at him, tries to bribe him, and he doesn't arrest him and take the money and put it in he tosses it back at the dude and says, "Send them a message that we're not going to put up with this." Wouldn't a better message have been arresting the fucking
Yeah.
dude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of shit fuck cop is he?
He's a shitfuck one.
Well,
He's a
I want
treasury
to point
agent,
out
not a cop.
He
doesn't-
be better
doesn't
at
actually-
taking people's money then.
he doesn't actually arrest anyone once
That
in
is
this
very
fucking
Yeah,
film.
that's true.
Fucking,
no,
it
I
fucking
think
foam.
He just gets a taste for blood and just
when
keeps
they
killing.
when they do a raid on the post office, they arrest people.
Oh
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Also, Malone's character apparently knows where every bit of alcohol in the entirety of Chicago is all the time.
Yeah,
Well, it's because of the crooked.
He says
cop.
it. He says it himself. We all know
No,
where
I'm
the
just
the
saying.
alcohol is.
Nobody's willing to cross.
We know where it is. Fucking Sean Connery.
You know he won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for this movie.
Are you serious?
Yes.
That's weird.
What was? Who else was he up
Yeah,
against?
right. Like 87
I
must have been
just-
a dry year.
I just looked it up this morning and I can't remember.
I would like to know that.
Chris.
Eric, you have my permission to
Okay,
look
yeah, I'm
that
gonna
up
look it up
right
real
now.
quick.
I've no idea about
I'm gonna
that.
look it up
but the
real
other
quick.
thing is, I noticed, feel a little jaded by movies today because you have this nice gangster film, and it just seemed a little too clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I
Breaking Bad
imagine
was
Chicago in the
definitely
'30s was not much nastier than the way they represented
Well, Frick,
it.
have you seen Boardwalk Empire?
Yes, that
See,
show's
that
awesome.
that's an
Dude,
awesome show.
You're in that show.
I am?
Yeah, Steve Buscemi.
What are you trying to say there, Eric?
I'm just like backed into a corner here because nobody else liked the Untouchables.
Okay. Because if you're saying that I'm in that show, then I'm pretty sure that you're also in Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, I am.
Don't you play the Rhino?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, wow. Going there, huh?
I had a lot more fun though in Sideways. That was a great movie. Look, I'm just gonna live with it. I get it. I look exactly like Paul Giamatti, and I'm okay with it. Okay. So does anyone
I
want to
loved you in
know?
American Splendor.
Anyone want to know who else was up for 1987 Best Supporting Actor?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Albert Brooks for Broadcast News, Morgan Freeman for Street Smart, Vincent Gardenia for Moonstruck, and Denzel Washington for Cry Freedom.
Wow,
Wow.
I haven't seen, with the exception of Moonstruck, I haven't seen any of those movies.
Right.
Yeah,
I'd say
and
the
I
same
haven't.
thing.
Like those are names, but none of those movies really did much.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Apparently.
sure I didn't even see Moonstruck. Like,
I haven't seen it.
That's a good movie.
pings on my radar a
I've
bit.
seen
but-
parts of it. Well, I mean, it's your favorite, James. It's got Cher.
Oh, all right.
And Nick Cage.
Oh, boy,
Oh, is
man.
that-
And Nick
wait, no,
Cage.
I'm thinking of Leaving Las Vegas. All right.
Yeah, no,
Moonstruck's
Moonstruck.
actually a good movie.
Yeah, and Nick Cage plays like a one-armed pizza guy.
So, Chris, so you worked your way through the notes, or you got more to say?
Yeah, I think so. Let's see. Felt too clean. Nest character is least enjoyable. Elliot cries.
Quart of milk,
I was just thinking that.
stick of butter.
Loaf of bread, container of milk, stick of butter.
I think we just
Yeah, I'm
dated
good.
ourselves there, Colin.
Yeah, I
we
remember
are.
that one.
You know, we're old.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
11, 12.
But there's lots of 35-year-old white guys out there that can't count to 12, so thank you very much, my generation, right? Like, thank you, Jim Henson. I can count to 12.
That's right.
So,
So you want to count the 12 ways that this movie sucked donkey balls?
yes, I do.
Yeah.
I'll go.
Colin, talk to me.
All right. So, we already mentioned that the indefatigable Ennio Morricone scored this movie, and I
Yeah.
think, I'm a big fan of Morricone's work. I've looked into it before I became an elite internet movie critic,
Right.
and I think that when he wrote the score, whoever ended up playing it had it upside down because I don't know why what is obviously intended to be like a driving bass line is played on oboes, which
Yeah.
I was all right with in the opening credits. I was like, oh, this is cool because you got like the dun 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 in the lower instruments, and then you got like.
Yeah.
But as this theme recurs throughout the movie, I just kept expecting like a cartoon duck to walk in or something because like it was just such a comical, really strange thing, and you got this movie that's taken itself really seriously, and this music that at times is just straight up goofy. And
I'm gonna actually interject here. I was gonna save this for myself, but it's such a perfect place to talk about this. Because I completely agree with you. And the whole time that I was listening to that, I was thinking to myself, Gremlins 2.
yeah,
Like, it really sounds like it's that late 80s action
Mhm.
type music. I mean, it was between that and then there was the saxophone, like the LA Law,
Oh, God.
Hill Street Blues.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
lots of alto and
I'm-
Spanish sax.
yeah, and God, that was awful.
People must have
80s was
loved
not
that
a good
shit back
time
then.
for music.
Well, at least they didn't put it all on synth because, like,
Yeah.
I mean, have you watched The Princess Bride lately? Because like the whole score to that movie is on synth, and it's so distracting. It's so awful.
Oh, God, no.
So
It's like legend.
I know. Yeah. Yes, which watch out because
That's
if it's
such a
available,
terrible
we're gonna
movie.
review it sometime. So get ready.
Oh,
All right.
no.
So I mean,
It
I
can't
like
think
be
I'll
on
be
Netflix.
dead that week.
I was sort of I was sort of half in, half out with the music because I love Morricone's work so much, and some of it is good. Like there's pockets of really great music in the movie, and then and part of it is it is just really dated. I think Eric hit that on the head, and then there's other parts where it's like, why would you use that music there? Like who put these aspects together? Now, as far as, like, we were talking about Elliot Ness, and I'll come back to what Chris was talking about Ness and how he's, like, super straight and narrow and all that. Except that in the structure of this movie, he only does it by the book one time.
Yep.
He does it by
And
the
then
book.
everybody
But he
makes
talks-
fun of him.
But he talks about doing it by the book the whole movie.
Right, yes, he talks about doing it by the book, but you only get he does it one time, and he's like, "Well, by the book doesn't work. No, what am I gonna do?" You know, and then Malone's like, "Start shooting people, kind of indiscriminately," and he's like, "Well, I don't wanna." Okay, and then he blows everybody. But even still. When they like sort of start to bend the rules and cross over and and play hardball with Capone, they only really run two operations. They have the first bust, which is approximately 1 minute, and involves basically nothing, just a guy going, "What is this? This ain't right."
Rolling strapped up with shotguns.
Yeah,
and clear house.
Right, they just come in and
Where's
go,
your warrant?
and they go, this invincible bootlegging operation is shut down. And they go, well, God, we never thought this would happen. I guess we're done. And then Capone's all like, "Rah! They're destroying me, even though no one's been able to even touch me this whole time. But for some reason, if somebody kicks in a door one time and says something loudly, I'm very threatened." And then
They destroyed one warehouse.
and then yes, they destroyed one warehouse and impounded one warehouse. And he's got guys in the cops, like they can't just get that alcohol back. And then of course
Right.
you move kind of straight along, and then it's like I'm on a horse, like smash cut to men on horses, and you have
Dun, 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 dun.
Colin, your cut of this movie would be great.
I would love to make it like a 5-minute version.
Smash cut.
This is how the movie happened. You should listen up, folks. This is the real deal
This is
here.
the real motherfucking deal, y'all.
And then you have
When we become internet famous, somebody can animate this shit.
So you got the border scene with the Canadian Mounties, where we see another rarely unknown law from the 1930s that all men in Canada are required to display a mustache at all times. That's how you know they're Canadian, because at that time they sounded British. Because you cross the Canadian border and the guys on the one side kind of sound like this, like Midwesterners, wah. And then the guys on the other side spontaneously sound like this. "Tally-ho, mate, I don't approve of your methods."
I'm Canadian.
"Oh, I'm Canadian, eh? I'm Canadian, mate. Throw another shrimp on the barbie."
I'm from Canada.
Oh, I love maple syrup.
Not only that scene.
I'm a moose.
That scene. I wish there was a moose in that scene. It would have added a lot. In fact, the Mounties should have all been riding mooses.
And now here's something you'll really like.
Watch me pull a rabbit out of my head. So that scene, I don't know if you noticed, but
speaking of movies with Robert De Niro in them.
Oh, God.
Okay, I think I honestly like that movie more than this movie. I think.
Oh God!
Yeah,
That
I'm with
movie
you
was
there.
Fucking awful.
The Rocky and Bullwinkle movie was terrible, but it did have Piper Perabo in it, and she's cute.
well, that there's a lot to say about cute women in movies, and it doesn't happen very often. So the scene.
Colin could write you a book.
The scene at the bridge is one of the worst examples of stormtroopery I have ever seen. Guys firing minimum minimum 6.
They start firing before they're even around the hill.
Oh no, not the Mounties. I mean the gangsters. These guys have minimum 6 Tommy guns that they're shooting into a wall of flesh. This is a solid barrier of horses that is like 10 horses deep and 4 horses wide, and not one Mountie or horse gets shot.
That's
known
true.
fact,
That's true.
Mounties are impervious to bullets.
I guess so. Like, what do they have?
Yeah.
Do they have phase horses in Canada or something?
Yes.
Like,
It's their mustache powers.
yeah, the twist. Oscar Wallace is a powerful illusionist, and he just summoned a horde of spectral horses and Mounties to distract them. And then of course, but of course, one accountant with a shotgun.
Yeah, it takes out like
shoots
the entire
4
big
gangsters
worth of,
and a fucking
gangsters.
truck, which he stops with a bullet.
Dude, he fucking shredded that
He
truck.
did. Yeah, he did. Now, I mean, that said, I love the Oscar Wallace character, and I get that there's not really much to him, but there's something that we had for a minute there in the 80s that I liked, and this was this love affair with the whimsical, where you put a gun in an accountant's hand, and he goes from being Jughead Jones to Indiana Jones, and it's like, like this. You don't get whimsical characters like that very often in movies anymore. At least not that I can recall. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just kind of spitballing, but
Guardians of the Galaxy.
I haven't seen it
Yeah.
yet, but I'm sure it's full of whimsy.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So
I'm
good.
going on Saturday. So another little tidbit you might not have known: costumer Armani.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Giorgio Armani.
Really?
It was in the opening
Yeah.
credits. Nobody's
Yeah,
paying
his
attention.
his name's actually.
I don't know how to
I was
read.
digging that music.
James, you're doing the fucking dishes.
So wardrobe by Armani, which is why everybody looks so sweet.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This time through, I skipped through the opening credits.
Oh!
I just skipped.
Well,
Come on.
Straight through.
one of the reasons I noticed a lot of these little things is I actually watched this movie twice since the last podcast because now hear me out. Hear me out. So the first day I watched it was Saturday. I spent 16 hours of the day unconscious and the rest in a fevered delirium. And
Yeah.
so I watched the movie.
James was really happy about that.
Well,
He wasn't the only one.
But somebody's living the life I live. I want to hear about the movie you thought you saw.
That's why I watched it twice. Because I was so excited to revisit this movie. That's why I chose it. And then I watched it, in this miserable state where I was like literally hallucinating. I had 3 mysteries to solve on Saturday, by the way, before I would feel rested. And I never knew what the woman's mystery was, but I got the fat guy and the businessman's. So it was a pretty busy day for me. And I watched the movie.
Dude, what kind of drugs are you doing?
Dayquil, yo. Don't mess with the hard shit.
Are you on that scissor?
Yeah, man. I was high on purple drank all day, man. So I watched the Untouchables because it's all I can do, and in my delirium I'm going, I have to watch this movie or I'm gonna let the guys down.
You don't watch it, the terrorists win.
Yeah, right. I'm like, for America, I got to do it. Get through it, and I go, I expected that to be better. Maybe it's the delirium. Maybe I didn't understand this movie when I watched it, but maybe it's just, I remember this is supposed to be a really good movie. It's Brian De Palma's period picture depicting a federal agent who will do stop at nothing to stop Al Capone, even if he has to bend the rules, And so I watched it again yesterday, and I was like, no, I was actually completely lucid through this entire experience. It just isn't that good. These scenes are sort of disjointed. It's like you have just barely enough time to establish that Elliot Ness would have liked to do it the right way and that Chicago is crooked. Thereafter, you get like 2 pretty short and underdeveloped scenes. Like, where did they get this tip off about the Canadian border? How did they get there? How is there this? There's this little house there, and these gangsters don't even look at it.
Wait, hold on. Let's interject with a scene with his family, so he's a family
Right.
man. Now back to the action.
Yes, and this happens a few times.
And by action, we mean really
Waiting
nothing.
for the.
we have
Nothing at all.
We have enough time to establish that Eskimo kisses and butterfly kisses are like a recurring thing.
That was
butterfly
fucking annoying.
kisses are afternoon
Okay.
kisses.
Okay. I gotta say this. I gotta interject here. This is like the middle of the 80s, right?
Late
This is
80s,
like-
87.
Okay, this is towards
I'll
the
go with
80s
mid.
end.
But sure.
Okay, but we're talking about a time when every fucking movie had at least one montage.
Yeah, where was the montage?
Why did this movie not have a
Yes.
montage?
That's
There
a
should
great
have been a
point. Yeah, that's a
montage
great
where
point.
they were like
Of
busting up
yeah.
liquor rings.
That's kind of... I could not believe there was not a montage.
of speakeasy raids.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
because all the music that they got
Just-
for the montage was like,
Right. Maybe they just didn't have working music.
But
But like, I would have even accepted like, you got the touch, dude, and they're just kicking in doors, like, and that's it.
That would be great.
That's all, and like, fucking Stone's got a gun in each hand and one in his mouth, and he's like,
I would watch that movie in one sitting.
Push it to the limit.
yeah,
Like if De Palma just recycled "Push It to the Limit" from Scarface.
like this was the perfect movie for a montage, and you almost never say this about a movie, but it actually needed one. There were a
Carry
couple
on.
things that I did like about the movie. And I don't think that I could have figured these out if I didn't watch it a couple times. Like, I know one of the things they do in this movie that I like is most of the characters appear before they are introduced. Like a lot of Capone's guys that have names later in the movie, they're in scenes with Capone repeatedly before they matter to the story. I feel like lately in movies,
Yeah, like that white suit.
yeah, Frank Nitti, and I'm getting to him. Yeah, and I feel like these days it's like you wouldn't see Walter Payne, the bookkeeper, until they go, we got to get that bookkeeper, Walter Payne, and then there's a freeze frame on Walter Payne's face with a filter, and the name Walter Payne appears next to him, in like Guy Ritchie style, you know what I'm saying, and with some little factoid about him, like Walter Payne, premature ejaculator or whatever.
Walter Payne loves Tostitos.
Loves Tostitos. But you see Walter Payne, and you see Frank Nitti, and you see a lot of those other guys, of Capone's guys, that end up doing things before they're introduced and over. So it actually does give a feeling like there are actually people in Capone's gang that have names. And I did appreciate that. I also like that Capone talks like a dumb guy that thinks he's smart, and I really appreciate that. Like, I like that towards the end of the movie, like all of his like super his like eloquent speeches. You're sort of like, wait, what did he just say? Like he's sort of like the Sphinx,
Everything he says, he just like finds a line that he thinks is clever and
then turns around and
Yeah.
You didn't know about a guy.
you're nothing but some talking a badge. You're nothing but some talking a badge. You mess with me, I'm gonna mess with him. And there's that moment where it's like, you know what? It's sort of like watching George W. Bush's speeches, because he's like, all I'm saying is,
Where he's so proud of what he
all I'm saying is,
says.
somebody mess with me, and you can sort of see it on his face. We're going, shit, I had something for this. And then he's like, spatial entrepreneurs or whatever, So,
I am the decider.
but I like that De Niro's Capone really isn't that smart, because I think like the heavy-handedly intelligent villain is like way played out now. I did like Frank Nitti, the white-suited guy that kills everybody, because he's the dude that kills everyone in the movie. Yes. He leaves the bomb in the bar. Mm-hmm. He's the one dressed as a cop in the elevator that kills Wallace, and he puts the hit out on Malone, and he kills everybody, and then
he kills Malone.
Yes, he basically sort of does
shreds him.
I know. he like peppers him. And the editing in that scene is really funny, because like Sean Connery apparently like does a little spin move every time the camera cuts away from him, and then he's in a completely different position when it comes back. I actually felt like Malone's character wasn't that great. I felt like most of his dialogue was sort of underdeveloped. Like you think he's smart and wise because they sort of play him like he is, but he doesn't actually really say much of value.
Yeah.
You know, like, stamp your feet. And like, Oscar is like, oh gosh, I never thought of that because I'm a colossal dumbass. Like,
Right, but what
Here endeth the lesson.
the lesson.
he might not be the smartest person there, but because Ness looks up to him, he kind of sits in this altar of wisdom. And in that sense, he does kind of function as the glue keeping them together.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I just feel like,
yeah, beyond that, he's not much of a
I feel like he, among many other aspects of the movie, was grossly underdeveloped. The train station scene made me never want to ever have children.
That was awful.
I know.
Like
It was
like,
bad. And it really was like 2 minutes too long.
I like the. Oh yeah, probably like 3 or 4 minutes too long because it's sort of segregated into this 2 minutes too long scene where he's looking at the baby and the lady while she's just like taking way too long to figure this shit out before any action happens, and then the slow mo scene, which is like 4 straight minutes of slow mo, where you're like, okay, we get it. You know, and that scene.
I just want to
People
point
will
out,
know.
if you're actually lip reading her during that scene, it does not look like she says "my baby."
No,
It looks like she says "my Frank."
right, like my friend, the baby. Sad woman, her best friend is a baby. There is that moment in there where like Ness totally loses his paladin, where he doesn't just let the baby go, but he like pushes the baby down the stairs.
Yeah.
He pushes the baby down the stairs, and that's what he's prepared to do. He's like, I am fucking serious about busting gangsters. I will push a damn baby down the stairs.
Well, that,
you know?
It was annoying to me because the baby's gonna be fine. Just let it roll down the stairs. Who cares? It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just let it go.
Babies are
It's
replaceable.
not a big deal.
Should make another one.
Hundreds of babies are made every day. It's not a big
I know,
deal.
like,
And some of them apparently spontaneously and with no foreshadowing.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
going to cover that in my.
yeah. So, all in all, like, upon review, I'd probably give The Untouchables like a C-. You know, it's not like a
Oh, Colin, we like to use stars.
like,
here.
okay, like, let's go with 2.
No, we like to use
have we ever-
nonsensical.
No, we've never used
Have you ever
stars.
done like a rating system?
I was thinking since Netflix uses stars,
we've
that's probably a good way to
used things
go.
as a rating system, but it's never been stars or what technically the legitimacy of a rating system actually meant.
See, my rating would be like a B minus, like an 83.
Probably.
That's my take.
I'd probably go with like a barely passing. I mean, you know, so if it's college, I guess that's like a C-. But if it's high school, I'd probably give it a D because I was disappointed. It did not live up to my expectations upon review. I think that's all I got.
I would have flunked this fucker right out of class and made it repeat a grade.
James, what do you got?
All right. Like, pretty much agree with a lot of what people are saying. A lot of really good quotable lines in the movie, of course. I was honestly surprised to find that more people didn't like it, because it seems like...
Well, you didn't like it, though.
Yeah, I know I didn't like... I mean, well, no, I'm sorry. I'm surprised that most of the people here didn't like it. Because... Like, in the general public...
Oh, yes. I'm surprised all of you
Fair, we
plebeians
also
are on my
spent
level.
last week talking it up because
I drink out of the toilet.
Yeah, we've all
I flush the toilet before I drink out of it.
Yeah,
Garage
I mean,
Mr.
what are you trying to
Goody
say, James?
Fancy. Okay, I'm saying that generally, like in the American zeitgeist, if you will, if I can be Mr. La-di-da
Lord.
Frenchman. People love this
Frenchman?
movie.
Zeitgeist is a German word.
Yeah,
James.
well, French speak German all the time. Shows what you know, plebeian.
Yeah, generally this movie has a reputation of being very good. And there are a lot of De Palma movies that a lot of people like. It's almost like sacrilegious if you talk bad about. When I saw De Palma, I wasn't sure like who he was at first. I thought he I mean, I knew he wasn't Scorsese because
So who is
Scorsese didn't do
Palma?
this.
Because that's a different guy's name.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I forgot Scorsese's name even, so I was like, this isn't that dude who does all those mob movies. This is,
Might have been good if he'd
this
done
is
it.
another dude who does a lot of mob movies. I actually thought he was the guy who did Manhunter and Miami Vice at first. Who the fuck was that guy?
Some
Miami
guy.
Vice is a TV show.
No, the recent
Yeah.
movie with Jamie
Oh.
Foxx.
Michael Bay?
No, it wasn't Michael Bay.
Oh, he did the Bad Boys.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
that's Michael Bay. I have no clue. No
Anyway,
clue.
I was expecting I was like, yeah, he does those like crime movies that are like really long, like very slowly paced and stuff.
Yeah, if
and
Michael Bay had made The Untouchables, they all would have been robots.
there would have been
And
a
then
lot more
exploded.
explosions,
But-
and there would have been a goddamn music montage.
And they would have been aliens.
Megan Fox. She
Yeah,
would have been Al
Megan
Capone.
Fox.
I think I'd watch that movie.
So, but I looked up De Palma and I realized that everybody has like just about everybody has a De Palma movie that they love. Me personally,
Yeah.
it's Carrie.
Hmm.
I really don't care for Scarface, but I will preface that by saying that every time I've sat down to watch Scarface, generally it's with a group, and something happens to where we have to stop watching in the last half hour of the movie.
Oh, that happened to me
So-
once.
Yeah, it's I've seen an hour, I've seen
With
2
John.
hours of
John did that
Scarface.
to
It's a
you?
long fucking movie.
I've never seen
Yeah,
Scarface.
Yeah, I've seen the bulk of Scarface, but as soon as the DEA agents finally nail him down, and they're like, "Oh, this is how we get him. We have to go do something."
Yeah, you missed the iconic
The
part.
best part of it,
Yeah.
apparently.
Yeah.
Well,
I like the beginning of the movie, but
Wait,
the middle of the
apparently
movie,
meaning you've never actually seen that last?
yeah, I've never
Oh
seen
my
"Say Hello
God.
to My Little Friend."
Because that
Him snorting a
whole
mountain of
movie
cocaine.
could go fuck itself. That is the best.
Yeah, that's what I hear,
Didn't-
but nobody wants to watch it. Apparently,
didn't we talk about Scarface like last week or 2 weeks ago when I told my story?
Yeah, I think so.
I was like,
Yeah.
am I going to tell my Scarface story again?
Well,
But yeah, that movie and this movie too has something that I really don't like. Like I said, I like the first 45 minutes of Scarface, and I really didn't like the rest of it because in the first 45 minutes, there's a lot of revelry in it, and I mean that in the sense that
Arms
you
get
actually
chopped
kind
off.
of revel in the crime that he's doing, and he's having fun doing it. You know?
So what you're saying is, as the audience, you get to enjoy it too.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. There isn't this bullshit I'm going to force upon you a guilt trip type, thing.
Yeah, I dislike it when movies make me feel bad feelings.
So after the first 45 minutes, once Scarface becomes the king, it's drudgery. It's just pure drudgery because he's oh, my wife is all on drugs, and even though I have everything, I don't have anybody close to me, so I'm bitter and
James, it's
Angry.
not easy being green or being on top.
yeah.
Because everyone wants a piece of your shit.
But this movie, even though Elliot Ness was I'm gonna be a bad guy now, he never enjoyed it. He's like, "What is this, a game?" Or "What is this, a game?"
He
so
gets slightly louder. What is this, a game?
that was perfect.
That
Holy
was,
shit!
That was really good.
That was actually perfect. That was
I'm
amazing.
saying he just gets slightly louder. He doesn't do an inflection in his voice. He just
Yeah.
gets louder.
I didn't.
So I have to say,
I didn't even know a Kevin Costner impression was possible.
yeah, it did kind of blow my mind right there. So Kevin Costner in this movie, I'm assuming that he got all these roles back then because
I can tell you why he got the roles. He could deliver lines, and he was super handsome.
I figured that was it because
that's it.
it's just David
Can he
Duchovny.
deliver
Yes,
lines
he
though?
he memorized the script and read the lines,
Yeah,
and he's
Oh,
very
okay,
handsome.
yeah.
That's how he became an
yeah,
actor.
he must have gotten the very handsome pass that David Duchovny got because
I love
Duchovny's-
David
I like
Duchovny.
David Duchovny, but here's the thing about both of them is that they're both very
laconic, dry.
yeah laconic. That's a perfect word for it. Yeah.
Okay, did you ever watch X-Files?
Yes, I did. See, here's the thing. Kevin Costner is laconic because he's a bad actor. David Duchovny is iconic because that's his character. I'm almost certain that like casting directors back in the day were like, well, no, he's not a bad actor. He's just like, one of those kind of guys.
Yeah,
Like,
I think
that's
he
kind of his
had 'em all fooled.
personality. Yeah. And the truth was he's just a terrible actor.
Yeah, I can see that. I can
Yeah.
see that.
And then
Don't you go talking shit about no David Duchovny.
Californication was the bomb.
I don't like that show, but I love the X-Files.
so that's
Would it help if in Californication he's secretly an alien?
No.
Oh, James has some more notes.
Sorry.
yeah. I wrote notes as I was reading them in the vein of watching the movie
Oh.
in the vein of Eric watching Convoy last week. So
What? You're just gonna co-opt my shtick?
yeah, it was a fucking good shtick.
It was a great shtick.
Mine though.
I will say this: I do not do it nearly as well as you do.
Okay,
So,
You were sober?
John, cut this out.
all right. The opening song reminds me of Cops, the cartoon show, fighting crime in a future time.
Yeah.
Yep. Music is so early '90s and goofy.
Yep.
Yep.
Accountant is nerdy.
Wow, he really doesn't do this well.
No. It's like he's just so fucking nerdy. Like it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
hey,
Accountant
this guy's
has
a nerdy.
glasses.
Right.
Ooh, he's an
But-
accountant.
But James,
My
these need
glasses.
to be significantly almost non sequitur. Your observations are straight. That accountant has glasses. Elliot Ness, as a cop, carries a gun. Capone is a gangster.
Yep.
He might have some good stuff. Let him keep
Yeah.
going.
The next one, was his wife pregnant?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That
never
one
saw her
was
pregnant. Yep.
weird.
Yeah. I
That was
thought
out
she
of
was in a
left
safe
field.
house, and then all of a sudden they have a baby.
I was wondering if that was
Well,
like, is this the replacement for the montage? Is this time passing? Like, 9 months later or whatever,
Yeah.
because the last time you saw the wife, she's all like, come up and brush my hair and everything, and then it's like, baby. So,
it was a sound of baby.
Oh, okay. That's a good baby sound. This De Niro is what all De Niro impressions are based off of.
That's true.
mhm.
Yeah.
This and Taxi.
Yeah,
This and Taxi
no,
Driver.
Yeah.
What are you looking at me?
Yeah.
You talking to me?
What'd you say?
the
Because I'm
alley
the only
fight
guy
between the alley fight between Sean Connery and the cop. Put on the glasses.
That's exactly what I thought. Oh my god, James, you and I are on the same page with this one. I swear to God, that was like the old-timey alleyway
Put on
Uh,
the fucking glasses.
from They Live.
Oh, that's right.
By the way,
Yep.
the best fight scene of all
Yeah,
time in
It's
all
like a
films
third of the whole
everywhere.
film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still worth it.
Never
They
seen
go
it.
on forever, and it's because
Ah.
the dude will not put on a pair of glasses.
It's Keith David
Yeah.
versus Rowdy Piper
Hell yes.
Yep.
for like 30 minutes, just beating the ever-loving fuck out of each other. Oh god, I can't even explain it. It's like
A lot of people getting thrown into trash cans.
Yeah.
it's
A
just
lot
so
of
good.
good old fashioned scrapping.
Yep, they beat the Christmas right out of you.
Yep. The enforcer guy's accent is really weird. Like I have no idea what the hell his accent was. Lots
Creep.
of bad superposition, and yeah, people sure do love alto and soprano sax. That was it. That's it for me.
Okay, well,
That's James.
I yeah. James, I think you're a little bit better when you're a little bit more organic.
Fair enough.
Well, are we rating each other now?
No, just James. Always, just James.
Well, James was trying something new. I just want to make sure he had some honest feedback. You know,
Honesty.
and I think he's.
Just being honest with you,
I
bro.
think he's. Yeah, bro. I'm just being honest with you, bro.
You are my D-O-G-E. Doge. I'm your Doge. What the... Okay.
God, this fucking movie.
Honestly, I miss his City of God speech.
Yeah, that was
as soon
really
as
solid.
the inspiration hits me again, I don't want to force anything.
Right? Yeah, no, definitely don't force anything.
That's how you end up with hemorrhoids.
Certainly don't force being funny.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Episode 6 and tensions rise.
I'm kidding. So, The Untouchables. Man. Obviously, it's no surprise how I feel about this.
Do you hate it?
This movie was god fucking awful. I'll tell you right now, if you're listening to this podcast and you have not watched The Untouchables in 5 years or more, maybe this resonates with you. But if you haven't watched it in 10 years or more, just don't ever go back. Just live in your head, and don't ever fire this up again and say to yourself, "Oh, I want to watch The Untouchables. I haven't seen that movie in 10 years." Do not do it.
Yeah, to be fair, I was actually excited. I'm like, oh, Untouchables.
Well, and then I was in the same boat, Chris. I was like sitting here and I was thinking to myself, man, I haven't seen this movie in forever, and I remember it being really cool. I'm going to have a great time.
You know, I actually was thinking, now that I'm older, I might enjoy it more. Maybe there was something I missed.
Well,
Nope.
The truth be told, this is just a dated piece of crap. I mean, everything about this movie is just straight up a sign of its own time. It's like all the bad mistakes the 80s movies ever made without any of the good. We've got the Easy Street sax. We've got the synth pop frickin' Gremlins 2 music. Jesus.
Kevin Costner.
Tatanka. The pacing is not great. There's a lot of weird editing choices in here. Like we said before, there was no fucking montage. This movie really, really needed a montage because there is like no point of reference for time. Sean Connery's character, the little wisdom tidbits that he dispenses, as we discussed before, it's like fortune cookie wisdom. It's like not even, I don't even know. It's just terrible.
If it was today, that would be like a second-rate life hacks website.
Yeah.
You know, want to remember where your keys are? Keep them on a chain.
Yeah. Tie a ribbon around your finger. Be sure to put on your pants one leg at a time. You're under the lesson. I mean, it's just god awful.
Remember
It's a
to
terrible,
remove the
terrible.
parking brake before starting the car.
And I have never seen such lazy extra work in a film in my entire life. It's exemplified in the character of that guy. The hey, this isn't right. Hey, that's no good. That guy. There was a scene because everybody was mentioning scenes from The Untouchables that everybody fucking remembers.
Yeah.
There's a scene that everybody remembers. The Al Capone smashes dude's head in with a baseball bat. Okay.
That was a really good... I actually like that scene.
That scene is way cooler in your head than it ever actually was on this fucking movie.
Well,
because if you watch this movie, everybody, all the extras in the scene,
Teamwork.
they're all saying watermelon, watermelon. You know what I mean? They're all, I mean, yes, they're saying teamwork, teamwork. Harumph, harumph. But seriously, all they're saying is watermelon, watermelon. And that's the kind of delivery that they give it to. Yeah. They're like, watermelon, watermelon. Watermelon, watermelon.
Was there no reason for him to kill that guy? And
he killed that guy because that was the hey, that isn't right. Hey, that's no good.
He was the guy that just got raided.
Yeah. But you know what? The fact that you couldn't tell that is a testament to the scene itself because there is no fucking context for any single action that happens in this movie. And that's kind of indicative of the entire movie itself. They deliver so many fucking scenes without context or without links to other scenes.
Baby.
Well, I mean, the baby's another great example. Baby out of nowhere? Yeah, okay. There's also just some really bad choices in here. I understand. People like Malone. Malone is the character that people like. So, despite Sean Connery's wonderful ability to act out dying, which is something, you know, I didn't necessarily feel that the guy who killed Malone was any worse than any of Capone's other thugs. I mean, I understand that he's basically, you know, that guy is basically the guy who does all the bad stuff. Yeah. Because he's got creepy eyes.
Yeah, he's very much like an Angel of Death character.
Yeah.
It's like they were writing the movie and they're like, we need a clear bad guy that can actually be the action focal point.
Yeah, right, like, and he was.
You know,
we can't throw Al Capone off a building.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we've got this guy who, we got this guy who basically blows up a little girl, kills all these characters, including the fan favorite. I don't know if it was the actor's fault or if it was just the fault of the movie, but the dude did not have the kind of, I guess, villain cachet.
Charisma.
Or gravitas, or whatever you want to call it. But, I mean, basically, he wasn't important enough. By the end there, and this is what I mean primarily by bad choices, by the end you've got this villain that is really ultimately he has no more villain quality than anybody else in that film. In fact, Capone still has more villain quality than he does, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, how do you merit cutting away from the main action for a 20-minute, and I timed it, a 20-minute chase scene for this absolute nobody?
This movie needs a climax.
Yeah, they needed the climax can't just be him getting dragged out of court.
The climax could have been the court. That's what the point I was trying to make, is that this guy was not deserving of a climax. That was a bad choice.
Yeah.
The climax was Capone.
Tell him to palm his business.
Yeah,
Carrie, goddammit.
That's another movie that it's a solid one.
Or is it?
Or is it? I mean, maybe. I don't know, because I haven't seen it in 10 years, and it's Brian De Palma, and he likes to shit on my childhood.
He likes to shit on his own movies 10 years
He
later.
personally, he plants these time bombs. He plants these time bombs.
Hey.
So,
Are we ready to play the game?
I think we're ready to play the game.
All right.
Good,
the
because
game.
I have to go in like 15 minutes.
Okay, well, we'll start with you then. You are a federal agent tasked with defending a law, real or fictional, in a city of your choice. What is the law you defend? What is the city? And what is the name of your crack team? For example, I'm Colin McMillan, federal agent tasked with solving the vicious sodomy ring in Detroit, and my team is called the Untouchables.
Oh, Jesus God.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to think about this.
Okay, I'm Eric Largent. I'm a federal agent with the Food and Drug Administration. I'm based in Miami, Florida, and my task is to stop people from citrusing and jaywalking at the same time.
Ooh. What's the name of your crack team?
The Juice Heads.
Are you kidding me?
I know I'm asking a lot here.
Yeah.
That's good, though. That was good. I like that.
Yep.
I like that. The Juice Heads. Who's next?
Because, Juice Head as in, like, people that do steroids.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I like it.
Agent Chris Arsenault with the FBI. Lansing, Michigan, we're going to prevent people from feeding ducks. We're going to be the Cracker Squad.
Ooh!
Hey, I like
Quacker
that.
Squad?
I like it.
But
That's
I
good.
thought about Quacker because I like that too. But honestly,
The Cracker Squad.
Works on so many levels.
that's yeah.
Okay, I'm going to be Special Agent James Barrett with the Transportation Agency, the Federal Transportation Bureau.
Transportation Safety Administration.
We will be cracking
TSA.
down on the anonymous glory holes in the bathroom, and our crack team is going to be called the Expendables.
Oh!
Oh!
Well done. What city? Pick a city, James.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay, good enough.
Not San Francisco.
No. I'm sorry.
San Francisco?
No, the crime ring's too big there.
Francisco, yeah, San Francisco.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
Don't you mean San Francisco?
Yeah.
San Francisco.
Oh. I guess I'm gonna have to be Special Agent Burke Macklin.
Yeah. Burke Macklin, FBI.
My town is gonna have to be St. Paul, Minnesota.
It's not
part of the Twin
it's not
Cities.
Pawnee, Indiana?
It could be Pawnee, Indiana. I guess I'd work for textile import control. My job is to make sure people aren't illegally using felt to craft lovable puppet characters.
Okay.
Okay.
And my crack team would be the Unmuppetables.
That's pretty good.
That was such.
It was a long way to go for it.
Yeah.
I know. I'm no good at this. I'm never gonna get to do the
Long
movie.
and winding road.
Oh man, your punchline was great, but it really took you too long to get there. I got to give it to the Expendables.
Oh, come
Yeah.
on!
James
job,
both
James.
wins
James.
and is not expelled from the contest.
Just dirty enough.
Usually, I can guarantee James isn't going to get it because he's so absurd that he gets rejected on his premise.
That's right. I take a lot of risks.
Well, dude, like after Colin canceled the game last week, and you still had
Yeah.
a bunch of material to go through.
Yeah.
You just started like throwing shit at the wall.
Oh,
Yeah. It was bad. The goofy tooth pinch. That girl's got the goop leg.
sorry, James.
All right, James, what are we watching?
Okay.
Shut up, James.
All right, John. Now I'm actually stuck on two movies because Chris actually went through some things, and I saw a movie on there that I was like, oh yeah, that one. So, John, this will be your fault ultimately. Pick a number between 1 and 100.
23.
It's
Okay, you lucked
always
out.
23.
No, actually,
No,
you
it
didn't
was
luck out because
77
you would
last
probably
time.
dislike both of these movies. But we are going to go with an old George Clooney amazing movie. Well, not that amazing. From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh, crap! You had me excited. I thought we were going to do Return to the Killer Tomatoes.
Oh yeah, that does have George Clooney in it.
I've never
Sorry.
seen From Dusk Till Dawn.
Well, you guys heard it here. Next week is From Dusk Till Dawn, the first of the Robert Rodriguez, Quentin Tarantino mashups.
Mm-hmm.
Followed up by Spy Kids, right?
You can listen to our podcast on iTunes, the Stitcher app, or directly on our website. Feel free to send us a movie review suggestion. You'll have an equal chance of getting chosen for next week's movie review. You can reach us through social media, either by liking our Facebook page, John Hates Movies, or following our Twitter at John Hates Movies. Our music was composed by Kevin MacLeod. You can find this track and many more on his website, incompetech.com. Thanks for listening, and tune in next week to hear someone say...
What if I just randomly meowed throughout my review?